Hey everyone, we are back for February's podcast session. Today we are talking to Bezalel E and Raviv, a former member of the renowned military cyber intelligence unit who brings a wealth of expertise in the realms of security, technology, and innovation. We're talking about Lionsgate Network. If you've not heard about it, don't forget to check it out after today's episode. They are a blockchain intelligence firm specializing in tracking and recovering crypto assets stolen in hacks and scams. We've talked about this before, at least 3 or 4 different episodes, about how this has changed, how it's gotten less from 2020 to 2023, but it's still definitely a big problem. I'm so glad Bezalel is here. Bezalel, before we start the questions and lots of other cool, exciting things, please tell us about yourself.
So basically, thank you for having me and Lionsgate Network. We're happy to discuss the hottest topic in the world right now. We are basically, as a team, doing a lot of innovative things when it comes to blockchain analysis. We say that if you can trace the funds and you can trace them easily with token that is registered on any blockchain, then we can solve a lot of the problem within the space. Okay. Now, my background is obviously I have some cyber affiliation during my military service, but I very quickly realized what's very important in life, which is music. So I was a musician for over a decade right after the military
Wow.
service. Right. That's where I find my personal interest and joy. And I was a musician. I took one way plane, one direction to New York City at 21, and I've had the time of my life. Went through all the challenges that a musician will go through if you take music very seriously, and I have taken it perhaps too seriously, because at the end of a cycle of a decade, I was looking at a P&L, right? Profit and losses. Where do I stand? And I realized that the majority of the money that comes to me is already way deducted by the financial mechanism of the music industry. And I didn't like it. So I had to reinvent myself. And the way that I've reinvented myself was to go and basically take all of my entrepreneurial talent and put them with finance. Because as a musician, you need to know how to deal with your finance as any entrepreneur. It's first, right? And to be able to do that and to develop skills for a decade, I've fully immersed myself into finance and I've done that for 10 years. Around that time, obviously, crypto has become legendary, conversation in almost every room. And I realized that there's so many problems with crypto. I said, seriously, why don't people talk about everyone want to FOMO you into buying the next token, but the conversation around the holes in the bucket, and that bucket right now is valued at $2.6 trillion. It's not a small bucket anymore. So I saw that a lot of people do not deal with the problem. And I said, I'm interested to solve with the greatest minds available in the world some of the biggest problems that are related to crypto. And I've gathered a family of people that basically have the same mindset to solve a major financial problem. And here we are.
That's fantastic and honestly an amazing story. Why take this somewhat helpful measure and form Lionsgate and go down this path? Because it has been such a problem. This is a story we see on Twitter, on different
Right.
social platforms. This was hacked, that was hacked, I've lost all my money, my life savings, etc. Right? It's a very selfless task to start Lionsgate Network in a sense, of course, because Lionsgate Network is not a charity, of course, but it's still like putting a lot of effort and energy to help people recover their stolen assets.
Right. So you got to be crazy to be taking such a journey. But what a journey is for, if not to take it in a crazy way. We wanted, and I love major achievements. Okay. That's how I'm oriented. I'm the last of 12 kids. So I always
Wow.
had to do 12 over, right? To be noticed. So for me, it's a very natural challenge. And I think the most challenging thing is to connect and align with people that have the same ability and the same mindset to take that trip with you, because just climbing the Himalaya, which I've never done. I haven't done yet, I would say. You, I mean, the team with you will basically will supervise the success, right? If you have the right people with you, you're more likely to end up sticking that flag at the top and take a nice picture with the fellows that actually contributed to the journey. That's what we see here. A lot of people do not like, they prefer the plateau on a good sunny day. And we get that. We also like that. But every now and then we get bored with looking at a problem that no one solves. And I think a lot of people right now, they require that kind of attention because as Bitcoin exceeds and went over $70,000, which is historic, we don't see the wonderful billboard banner, right? We're also looking at the backdrop of the scene. And the backdrop of any scene is very different. If you've been to a concert, for instance, going back to music, so you have the stage, which everything is magical. But in the back, people are screaming, yelling, and pulling their hair. And that's what crypto is for a lot of people, unfortunately. I say it with a heavy heart. A lot of people that only looked at the stage without realizing that they're bound to lose every cent from their pension, all right, and lose their asset and houses. And every savings account they had is right now vacant because they were not advised, they were not aware, and therefore they were completely tempered with their finance in a way they cannot recover. So the recovery services of Lionsgate Network basically is built for individuals mostly, because in the end of the day, if you look at government and corporate, individuals are the one that basically build society. Okay, they are the blood cells in a body, the white and the red, and we want to be able to say we're here for you. Okay, because we know that if you'll go to the police station down the road, they will tell you crypto is not real money. They will tell you you used to have dollars or Swiss francs or euros, but there's no value to it now because you basically put it down the pit. And we say, no, that's not true. You had dollars or any other fiat, and since it's now in crypto and you lost it, there are far more fantastic ways to recover it because we can look at it and we can inspect into it and we can see the whole cycle it went, the whole journey of your money in the embodiment of crypto, wherever it is, even if it was cashed out in an exchange in China. Okay? We have the route and we're looking at it and we want to be able to share it with you as a member of the crypto community. Because whatever bring value to crypto community, again, it's not government, it's not corporate, contrary, people that basically invested and gave trust to something, and therefore it's valuable.
I totally agree. And that's very interesting and very much needed service. Before we dive into today's questions, I did want to talk about something that you guys just announced, which is your partnership with Kaspa. And we've talked about Kaspa on the show before. Kaspa is very much in the 21 Code, 21 Shares Twitter mentions all the time. They're always talking about Kaspa, when are we going to get a Kaspa ETP? So tell us about it and how did it come about and why is it so exciting?
It's super exciting because Kaspa has a great community.
Yes.
And that's what we're interested in. Again, it always come back to people. Okay. So Kaspa has a great community of people that obviously believe in their incredible blockchain and the incredible abilities of the people that's basically made Kaspa what it is, right? So people believe people, right? They don't believe technology. They believe people. You will invest in ChatGPT, OpenAI, if you believe Sam Altman. If you don't believe Sam Altman, you will withdraw your investment, right? So this is as simple as it can get, okay? So if there is a community of people that believe the core founders of Kaspa, okay, then obviously we want to be there to help that community as much as possible. in reference or in regard to Kaspa token or regardless, right? So this partnership is incredible in a few ways, but in the most fundamental way, now every member of Kaspa is eligible to receive free analysis on their case. And for the recovery steps, they can, if there is a case, and obviously the analysis is positive to recover, which is something we do with all of our clients. So therefore, at this point, there is a positive probability to recover, right? Then we are going to onboard the case, and the member of the community can fund the recovery process using a Kaspa token, which is not, this is a token not only to represent value in the community, which is what a token would be, but now you can basically use it and facilitate it to help a problem that you've experienced with other crypto and other blockchains. So it's an inherent solution to an inherent problem. And this is why it's genuinely legendary for crypto space, because it means we solve problems with crypto that generated essentially in crypto. And that's a full circle for us.
That is. You mentioned it. Let's talk about the process, right? So I'm someone who has a problem. My crypto assets were stolen some time ago. Give us a general example. I remember I went to the Lionsgate website. I looked at all the options. And so I'm at the website. What do I do first?
So first of all, be sure to type Lionsgate.network and not just Lionsgate, because then you might call the production film company in LA and they will not be able to help you. We get calls from Lionsgate in LA saying, guys, please help us because we're getting tons of requests to recover crypto. We don't do that. So we're like, okay, we'll make amends. So for us, every person that before they meet with us, they have to go through a 1-minute questionnaire. It's a very short questionnaire, but it's very enlightening for us to inspect. So basically, a client or a pending client will express how much they lost, who they lost it with, and what is the scenario they have experienced in the losing of the funds. So they will say, I was invested with a fake trading platform, or I invested with someone who I met on Match.com or Tinder, and they said that they have a token that I should invest in. So that person took the money and disappeared. Or it could be through a wallet hack, for instance. You pressed a link, your money was vanished because of a malicious contract that basically withdrew all the money from your wallet. So there are different scenarios. So you will express to us in 1 minute the scenario that you've experienced, and we'll be ready then to meet you face to face. And why is that? Because the major competition in recovery service field is orchestrated by the same scammers. So they have two hats. In one hat, they will scam your money away from you. And in the other one, since they already have your contact, they will sell you recovery services. So they will take you from floor ground to 6 feet under. That will be their tactic. And it's horrible because if you still have money, they will find the means to convert you as a client. No service given. And that's why we insist on the things as policy with Lionsgate Network that cannot be provided by scammers face to face. No one will sell their freedom for another baht or another million baht. This is one of the tactics. We have many. We basically provide service in a way that you cannot falsify it. We provide free analysis for cases that are positive in our tests as far as the preliminary stage. We provide free reports. The reports are essential because if you will have our report and you will go downtown to the police station and they will say, oh, crypto is now real money, you will then say, wait a minute, because I was prepared for that. And now we have Lionsgate report, and it actually says that my money went from, let's say, Chase Bank to crypto.com to suspect wallet. So it's actually real money. And then they have to act. And let me tell you something. If they don't, you can sue the police because they have to do their job. It's not an NGO. They don't work for free, as don't we. So, with the evidence, they have to comply with your request to freeze the funds with the exchange or the wallet it's in. So, with Lionsgate Network, I should have started with that, but obviously my mind is at a sphere. We have blockchain analysis, we have cyber intelligence, and we have AML fraud. So, blockchain analysis is to discover where your money is right now. We put a Bell's cow on it, so if it moves, we'll be on it and it will ring wherever it is. Okay? As long as it's on blockchain, we will have sound effect where your money is, like a cow's bell, right? That's blockchain analysis. Then we have cyber intelligence to go after the entity of the holder of your money. It's very essential. So again, more clarity to your case. We'll give you the name and last name and the details of the person holding your money through cyber intelligence features. And lastly, AML fraud to help you with police, court, law enforcement, etc. to close the deal. Okay? So we will onboard cases that have high probability to get recovered in order for us to maintain a high success ratio to share with our shareholders, with people that work in the company, etc. Those cases that we can't help because, let's say, that money was cashed out in China, you still have the report free of charge. You didn't need to pay for it. And you can then pursue civil or law enforcement process.
That's fantastic. The cases where it hasn't been cashed out, like, how do you actually recover the funds if they're in a scammer's wallet, or is that possible, or how does that work?
So, in order to intercept crypto, you communicate either with the exchange or the wallet, right? And the most intuitive question to that will be, but what if it's a cold wallet? So, cold wallet also have, incredibly enough, people behind it, all right? And people can be communicated with. Now, if we're going to send an alert to the people of cold wallet X or Y or Z, okay, they have an option. They can comply or they can ignore. If they comply, good enough. Some of them do comply easily. It doesn't need convincing to do the right thing. These people understand that the year is no longer 2017, and therefore they cannot do whatever they want. There is accountability. We are in the era of accountability in crypto space, and that's the only reason why it will grow to the moon. It will not grow to the moon because of scammers selling that as an advertisement on their Twitter account. To the moon. There's nothing on the moon. I don't want to be on the moon. I want to be on planet Earth with my money in planet Earth, if it's possible. So they send your money to the moon because there's nothing there. So we say we want to find means, AML and fraud means, to make a conversation with even cold wallets. And we based our conversation on pure analysis. So imagine that you are the CEO of XYZ wallet that is cold, right? Zero governance, no custodian, right? Cold wallet service. And we'll tell you that there is basically scam operation in your house, in your under your business. And we might also share with you insights that are bigger than that private case, that individual case. Maybe that money that was scrambled or stolen or embezzled from our client is linked to organized crime. So you have an option. And we always say, you can play with us or you can play with the law. You need to make a decision on how you are behaving under or with your business. You don't want to collaborate with us, that's fine. We'll take the next logical step. And we will report the case to law enforcement with the information we have. And that is a very problematic space for the same person who said, yes, but we are cold wallet. So basically, you've created a vacuum where you allow crime. And we say there shouldn't be any vacuum for people to steal or kill. Law is on the land and under the land, right? It's not only you cannot commit crime where there's no light, right? So what we do, we bring in a flashlight to help the conversation. It works.
That's that's an amazing analogy. I really like it, Bezalel. Let's talk about something. You've talked about retail, right? You said like for the individual person. What about the bigger organization? Because I have seen when looking through your website, looking through the press release, mentions of helping out with criminal organizations, terrorist organizations like Hamas. Perhaps not North Korea, but I know they were the ones who attacked the Ronin wallet last year or 2 years ago. Is this an area of expansion or an area that you guys are focusing on, or is it just focusing more on individual customers' needs?
So the beautiful thing about blockchain is that it tells you all the middle stories that describe the major plot, right? As every transaction is connected with the following transaction, right? So when you're looking at blockchain, as we do, we're looking at the pixel and we're looking at the picture. And when you're looking at the picture, you can't help notice the other elements in it. So that could be Hamas, that could be North Korea, that could be organized crime in South Italy. There could be a lot of things that you see because it's on that canvas. So this is more B2G, right? A personal
Right.
client doesn't care about organized crime, doesn't care about terrorist funding through crypto. They care about having their money in the bank. They all have such a phone and they want to see a ping. They want to hear a ping with a message, your money is in the bank. That's their peace of mind. For them, the world could turn around reverse. They just want the money back. And we
True.
acknowledge that. We acknowledge that because that's what they've come for. So we want to give them what they've come for. But if we expand and we have a more panoramic view in relation to that pixel, there is an incredible image that is very alarming. In the USA, you've mentioned in the beginning, in the intro to this call, you've mentioned that numbers of crypto scam are going down. The truth of the matter is, and this is behind the scene knowledge, that it's growing exponentially, but people are not reporting the cases anymore. So we say there's a different image here. The reason people do not report cases anymore because it says all over Reddit and Quora that the police will not help you with your crypto scam case. So they don't go. So if they don't report, the numbers are not registered, but you know who they come to us and they report to us. And 95% of them have never visited a police station because they already know they can't find salvation from a police officer who will tell them next time be smarter. They also give them a put down on top of a put down. So they don't want
Right.
to go there. They don't go there. So for us, it's very interesting. So there's much happening with this image because it's a 3D image and it's always in movement, right?
Right. I agree. And I just think back to something I was doing something here in Taiwan to buy some crypto, and my bank was like, oh, we do not support this. If you do have any problems, this is all your fault. And I've seen similar messages like in Taiwan or in Asia, people use an app called Line, and Line sends you regular messages. By the way, if you're purchasing crypto, doing anything, the government of Taiwan, cannot help you and the police cannot help you. I'm like, oh, that's not great. We've talked about all the things you guys are doing and all the fantastic things. And you're here today on Inside Crypto talking to our audience. They're listening to you, and if they do have issues, of course, everyone, including me, when we were introduced, I'm like, okay, I'm saving this web address, I'm saving this network, following you guys on social media, of course. What do you want the audience to do after listening to you, after watching you on YouTube and seeing you on TikTok and other places? Like, what do you want them to do?
My only request is if there is any request that I'm being asked to offer, is to trust yourself in the journey. I say to a lot of our clients, every now and then I will interact with individuals and I will get on the phone and get on conferences with clients because I really want to understand their journey. It really helps us remember why we do what we do because the work is hard. It's very difficult to recover. I always use the example of an egg. Everything in an egg is already inside and it's beautifully set and ready. And if you break the egg to bring back the pieces, so difficult. You need so much to bring the pieces together, to contain what was beautifully contained without effort before. For us, it's the same. We want to encourage people to trust themselves because that's what I say to all these people, to all the people that knock on our door with tears running down their face, with a complete sense of mistrust. This is not about mistrust with the person who embezzled them. This is mistrust with humanity to them. They've lost in the process trust with themselves because they've surrendered trust to someone else. And right now, they trust no one, and including themselves. And they're coming to us. And we want to remind them you have to go back to yourself because that is the recovery you're missing. Now, whether we can recover the money or not, that's under inspection, right? It cannot be promised. It cannot be guaranteed, okay? Because we have a journey. As you start any journey with law enforcement in court, no one can promise you that you're going to win court before trial. If they do, you possibly know that lawyer is possibly not a lawyer, right? So we encourage them to trust themselves. And due diligence is primary here. Due diligence. Who you speak with, where they're from, what they've done. Learn who you're engaging with, okay? And money is so critical to everyone, right? It's so precious. It's so precious because it determines what you will eat, where you will live, and who you spend your time with, right? This is critical to learn who you're communicating with. And like I said, in the crypto space, our biggest competition are basically companies that cannot deliver, or even worse, will rob you off of whatever you have left. So you have to be really ready for a fight here. This is a war on your financial state, and you need to insist, not request, insist on eye-to-eye contact. Okay, having full name. Okay, making sure everything is legit. And if you trust yourself, and you will not surrender trust to someone else, I think it will change the experience that you have thanks to this negative experience with everything you will come in touch with. So there is a more holistic perspective to it from my angle, right? And we want to encourage clients that come to us broken. Look at the bigger picture here. We know it's difficult, but if there is a time, now is the time to trusting yourself and putting yourself first. So there's a lot of people that we see that all their life, they will share with us, have put themselves second. So it's easier for embezzler to take their money because they will say that there is this and that and this, and you have to join this carriage. It will take you to a wonderland. And that's something that we want to emphasize our attention on. Recovery is not of the funds only, but it's also your self-belief, which is the most precious thing, possibly the only thing that is more precious than your actual assets.
I love that. And I love that holistic look at what's happening, not just from the fiscal perspective, but from the personal and emotional perspective. Bezalel, this has been an amazing conversation. I had 8 questions planned that were a lot more granular, but I think we've covered all the essential things, especially regarding what our audience cares about and what they really are interested in. And I love the conversation today.
Thank you.
Before we end up today's podcast, you guys do a lot more. So if there's anything else you want to plug, you want to mention, any television appearance or anything that's happening in the future, floor is yours. You can say whatever you want before we end up today's show.
Well, if you gone through any kind of event where you were targeted and got scammed using crypto, feel free to leave us a shout out on our website. Leave the message there. Take the questionnaire. We will follow back on it 100% of the times. Sometimes it takes us more time than others because we are overwhelmed with cases. And obviously, we are in growth right now. So leave us the information. We'll do everything in our power to analyze the case, come back with a conclusion and some kind of guidelines on what would be the next logical steps in the recovery process. And I think that's it.
Perfect. That's awesome. I'll have Lionsgate Network's socials, everything down in the YouTube video, on the shorts content as well. Are you on social media for people to follow, or would you prefer to just follow Lionsgate Network?
Yeah, I don't have time to be on social media, to be honest with you. I don't know how people do it. I'm autistic when it comes to one platform, one purpose. I don't know how to do two things at the same time, but that makes me a male. And in that sense, my social media is not functioning. My personal social media doesn't function. So just follow what's important. And what's important right now in relation to this topic is any of the social media, Twitter, X, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have great stuff coming and great announcement that I'll keep quiet. We want to leave room for other discussions in the future, perhaps. More than happy to engage with anyone in the space who can spread the message. I encourage everyone to spread this conversation because it's all about communities. I've mentioned that a few times. If your community is protected, it will make your life better because if someone in your community got hit very hard, losing their life finance, it will impact you personally. And you know why? Because you will not enjoy that person in laughter so much and enjoy so much. They will be stressed, they will be hardcore, and you will enjoy a new them. So I say, if you want to protect your neighborhood, your community, your friends, your family, your coworkers, share insights on how to avoid being scammed. This is great. It doesn't have to be our stuff. It could be anyone's content. Make sure to forward to them because you'll enjoy a better life having your friends laughing and asking you to go out on a movie with them rather than they say, oh, I don't have money to go to the films because I got scammed with crypto. What? But this is reality for some people, unfortunately. And people that listen to this conversation can definitely avoid that.
Perfect. That's some very good advice, and I hope people take that to heart. Bethel, thank you very much for making time today, somewhat early in the morning where you are. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we get to talk soon when there's more announcements, more interesting things we can talk about, maybe catch up in about a year or so. I'd love to do a follow-up episode if you're available.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time and looking forward to seeing you next.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.